Welcome to the Great Place to Work CEO Masterclass webinar. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the various lands on which we work today and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people participating in this webinar. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing connections to the lands and waters of Australia. Thank you for joining us for today's masterclass on unique and special benefits with Andre Morgan, co-CEO of CMD Solutions and brand CEO at the Mantle Group. As the screws tighten on the Australian labour market and workforces are looking for ways to retain their staff, one of the most common questions I'm asked by clients is how do we create unique and special benefits for our employees? One company that has done this is the Mantel Group, where 87% of employees say they have unique and special benefits. So what's the secret? Well, I'm thrilled to have Andre Morgan, Mantel Group, with us today to share some of their insights. Today's session is the third in our CEO Masterclass series, featuring leaders at the helm of Australia's #1 micro, small, medium and large best workplaces. Before kicking off, I'd like to say a few words about Great Place to Work. Since 1992, we've surveyed more than 100 million employees around the world and used those deep insights to define what makes a great workplace experience. It boils down to trust. We help organisations quantify their culture and produce better business results by creating a high trust work experience for all employees. Great Place to Work has published the definitive list of best places to work in Australia since 2008. We use our unparalleled benchmark data to recognise Great Place to Work certified companies and best workplaces all around the world. And everything that we do is driven by our mission to build a better world by helping every organisation become a great place to work for all. Now let me introduce Andre Morgan, brand CEO, Mantel Group, and the co-CEO and co-founder of CMD Solutions, a premier AWS specialist consulting partner that's part of the Mantel Group. CMD's focus has been to develop deep AWS specialisations to help CMD's clients achieve transformational business benefits. It's achieved through building a team that enjoys teaming and has also shared passion for continual learning about modern cloud practices. Andre's career spans over 20 years and he has a variety of senior management positions in strategic cloud, infrastructure and information management roles. With 305 employees, the Mantle Group has created a great place to work for all, one where every employee, no matter who they are or what they do, is having a consistently positive experience. Caring leaders foster an environment where everyone has a purpose, can contribute new ideas, and has access to the resources they need to thrive inside the organisation. Across the company's Trust Index employee survey score, the tool that Great Place to Work uses to measure employee experience, Mantle Group's average score was 96%. 100% of Mantle Group employees say that they're proud to work for the company. Their executives embody the best characteristics of the company and their customers would rate the service they deliver as excellent. An astonishing 99% of employees say people here are paid fairly for the work they do. When we asked Mantle Group employees what makes the organisation a great place to work, one employee responded, "It's the most supportive culture I've ever worked in. It's safe to say what I really think and I'm taken seriously. The people we hire are incredible at what they do and I love working here. The best place I've ever worked." Andre lives in Wollongong. Welcome, Andre. Andre will be interviewed by Sean Aylmer, one of Australia's most experienced and respected journalists. Sean was editorial director at Fairfax Media, the most senior journalist in the group. I'd like to welcome Andre and hand over to you, Sean.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, Andre. Welcome today. Tell me, first thing when I was listening to Sam talking about your group, I was wondering, what exactly is it? Explain the Mantel Group to us.
Thanks, Sam, and hi, Sean. Great to be here today for this session. And, talking about, one of my favourite topics, really, which is Mantel Group and CMD Solutions. So Mantel Group is a house of brands, and that means it's basically a collection of 7 specialist brands that we all work in the IT arena, and we all have different specialisations. And those specialisations, they span cloud, for example. So we've got brands that specialise in each of the major cloud vendors. We've got software engineering and human-centered design brands, and we've got data specialist brands. So all in all, we've got 7, and they've either been organically formed from the start, or it's through strategic acquisitions.
Okay, so how do you sorry, I'm jumping in over there.
That's all right. It's been, we've had a really rapid growth journey, both as CMD and also across the group. So CMD's grown from the 3 founders about 6 years ago, and we joined the Mantle Group about 2.5 years ago, and we're about 120 people in CMD, and across the whole group, we're nearly up to 500 people now. So we're located all over Australia and New Zealand, and we've got some people in just about every major capital city around Australia now.
Wow. So the obvious question is, how do you manage such a broad range of operations?
Yeah, well, that's the interesting part, because you know, part of the beauty of the House of Brands model is you have all of these specialist companies, but if you didn't actually integrate or work together, then you know, you'd be losing out on a lot of the secret sauce. So we actually spend a lot of time as leaders in forums, working together and collaborating and figuring out how we're going to do joint delivery. And then we've got a lot of projects where we're actually working together to deliver a broader set of specialist services than we would be able to on our own. So for example, CMD is an AWS cloud specialist, and Eliza is a data science AI machine learning specialist, and we combine together to help our clients address modern data platforms and data science challenges. Equally, we partner up with Digio, which is our software engineering and development brand, and that way we can help our clients to create modern cloud-based applications, do software design and development.
Okay, so today is entitled Unique and Special Benefits. Tell me about My Deal, because I think that is something quite special about the Mantel Group.
Yeah, so the My Deal is a concept that we developed, and it's really about creating an individual connection with our team, and tapping into their intrinsic motivators and what's really driving them to be at work, and striking up a customized arrangement, a deal that is designed to increase engagement, but also create win-win outcomes for both the company and the person. So those things, they can be simple things such as you know, getting more annual leave to do certain things that they want to focus on, get a balance. Could be working with community. That could be helping with a balance around working parents. It could be with tech solutions. You know, people are really passionate about pursuing certain things, so we can find a balance so they can get some time to do that. It could be, you know, related to attending overseas conferences back pre-COVID, when we could actually do that sort of thing. That was often a popular one. Or it could be, you know, improving the technology that they're using and sort of, you know, getting some upgrades on things that they'd be passionate about.
Okay, but it's a very individual program, isn't it? It's not one size fits all. It's quite the opposite.
Yeah, exactly, because, you know, everyone's different, and that's what we want to do. We want to have individual discussions, and it's the leaders in each of the brands and the leaders in our people and culture team. We invest the time to meet with everyone, at least on an annual basis, to really talk about their deal. And, you know, initially, if it's the first conversation, it'll be sort of structuring that deal, and then you find you come back 1 year later, and you know, it might be a new deal. And, you know, we were talking earlier about one of the My Deals actually resulted us in opening up a work hub in Magnetic Island. So, you know, we can think big with these things as well.
So how do I get onto that one? I like that. Tell me about Magnetic Island.
Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing actually that you know, we had one of our team, and they thought, oh, it'd be great if they could relocate to Magnetic Island. And so they did their research, and they found that it would be supported as well by the clients that they were working with. And so we gave it a go, and they moved up there, and then they found it's such a good environment up there. They suggested that we should open up a small work hub so that some people can actually go up there and do a bit of work, and also have a bit of a holiday, and take advantage of being on the island and relaxing. So we're also thinking about opening it up to some of our network clients and partners. So yeah, maybe we could do the interview up there next time, Sean.
I like that idea. It sounds to me that what a lot of us have learnt during COVID, you already knew well before COVID, but central to that, of course, is trusting the people that you work with and the people that work for you. How do you make sure that you have that trust? How do you make sure you have the right people so you can trust them to do that?
Yeah, and that's part of the building a great team. I mean, it starts with finding those great people, but it's also about the culture that we have. And so we've got 5 simple principles that we work by, and they really resonate with everyone. And so that's sort of the leveling factor across everywhere. But I've found that what really works for people is that they've got great ideas about how to do things. So we don't need to tell people how to do that. We just need to coach and facilitate people. So we try and enable and empower people, set them up for success, do a bit of coaching, and really let people run with things and make their own decisions. And okay, sometimes things fail. We have to be prepared to accept failure and move on, make a few course corrections. So I think that's the key thing. People want to be making their own decisions and setting their own direction. So it's about tapping into that.
There must be some staff who actually want to be led and others who don't want to be led at all, no matter what you see in that first interview. Some people, once they're in a workplace, they actually like having a boss they can talk to once, twice, maybe 3 times a day, often too often. But then there are other people who you can let go for a week and they're doing just as well. Is that difficult to manage?
I actually find that if we get the right people, that it all works itself out, because even if someone hasn't been appointed a leader, they're going to demonstrate leadership, and they're going to take accountability for things, and people will gravitate around them. So in that situation, people that sort of are looking for a bit more direction, they'll probably move closer to the people that are sort of taking accountability and doing more coaching and guiding. And I think it's really important to sort of not put in place rigid structures and hierarchies, because people want the freedom to sort of create these networks.
Okay, so having said that, how do you communicate across the group? You said there are 7 different organisations, including your own, within Mantel Group. How do you, what's the process to making sure you can disseminate information?
Yeah, and that's right, because with 7 different brands sort of operating independently, it could be chaos, but it seems to work quite well. We've got quite a few different forums, and anyone that's sort of familiar with the instant messaging tool called Slack, that's very popular, and we do a lot of communication on that. We do a lot of, at the moment, with all of the remote working, we do a lot of video conference calls, using Google Meet or Zoom or, those different channels. But I guess more importantly is that we've got, set cadence between the leaders in terms of getting together and talking about how we're going and things that we can work on together. And so we have that, and then we also encourage everyone in every brand to interconnect with each other and learn more about what people are doing in the other brands, and form up these networks. And so there's all sorts of conversations going on, and people have formed up all of these little special interest groups that pop up on Slack, talking about everything. It's not always work related, sometimes it's about hobbies and interests. So I think that the more that we promote people to talk with each other, and especially across brand as well, the more success we're going to have as we scale up and get even bigger.
Just interested, Andre, you're based in Wollongong. Where are the other CEOs based? Are they around the country?
Yeah, actually all over. So mainly Melbourne and Sydney are the biggest hubs. But now that we're expanding out even further, we've got leaders also in Brisbane, New Zealand. One of our leaders are over there. So we're starting to get quite geographically dispersed, but we have all of these common forums that we're getting onto, and so we see each other pretty much every day.
You will eventually find yourselves all in Magnetic Island. You know that, don't you? Eventually. Tell me about remuneration and how you work through that, because that's tricky at the best of times, but particularly when you're running an organisation where individuals have their own deal, and some people might get a trip overseas, some people might get special technology. How do you manage all that?
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many different models out there, for REM, and I think most people would agree that financial rewards is not the only form of recognising people. And so from a salary perspective, we continually review the market and different roles and people's level of experience, and so we don't sort of box that into one annual review. We don't do that. We have continual coaching conversations and see how people are going, and we really try and tap into their intrinsic motivators and their development desires and what they want to be doing, and help to facilitate and enable them. And so that's then part of our commitment around that. The other side of it is bonuses. Some organisations do bonuses, and we don't have any bonuses or commissions, and we feel that doesn't incentivise the right behaviours, and also why should some people get it and not others, when really everyone in all roles should be trying to do the best that they can do regardless of financial incentives. And so I think it's really about more than the financial side. As long as we're paying fairly, then how else can we really make it a great place and tap into what they want to be doing when they're at work? And maybe it's about the type of technology that they're immersed in their projects, or maybe it's about some of these things that are popping up in the My Deals. So I think it's really important to be creative and not just sort of really fixated on that one metric.
Before we came on, we were talking about the annual leave idea and health leave, and how you are very flexible on those sorts of things. This is all pointing to, in a sense, it's all about the individual, making sure the individual that's coming to work for one of these 7 brands is happy in what they're doing. More so than a wage, more so than saying you get 4 weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks leave. It's actually making sure they're happy in their workplace.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, happy people are going to stay with us for longer. They're going to be better to team with and work with, and we're going to produce much better results for our clients if people are happy. So, I mean, it's right from actually when we started CMD, even before we joined Mantle Group, we wanted to create a place where we really enjoyed working and other people would also enjoy working in it. So it's something that's, I think, a continual evolution as well. We're not perfect. We don't have everything right, but we ask every new person to provide us with suggestions. If they see there's different things that we can improve, then please tell us, because we're pretty dynamic and agile, and we can actually change to make things better as we go.
It's a great story. Andre, what's it mean to be a winner of a great place to work for you and for staff and for clients?
I think it's just such a fantastic achievement, because everyone's put a lot of different effort into all of these different initiatives that we're doing. There's not sort of one silver bullet, one thing that you do to sort of win this. It's a culmination of a lot of different things. So it's a great validation of our approach and all of the hard work that we're all doing. So it's really great for our team to also get this achievement. And then it's actually really great for our clients as well, because with our team being happier and having a really great place to work, they're actually going to deliver a better performance for our clients and be more engaged with our clients as well.
Great talking to you, Andre. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks, Sean.
Oh, thank you, Sean, and thank you, Andre, for your time and insights today. And I hope everybody listening learned as much as I did about creating a high trust in culture that employers love, and can take away some ideas about how to create unique and special benefits for employees. We might just now move to the next slide. And as I mentioned earlier, today's session is the third in our series of 4 masterclasses with the CEOs of Best Workplace category winners. Our next one will be on the 23rd of November at 11 a.m. with Lena Calibria, the COO, and Andy Falshaw, the CEO, who are both the co-founders of Bellroy. And Sean Almer will be interviewing them about what has made that #1 best small workplace and B Corp a unique and purpose-driven culture. So just before I sign off today, a quick reminder that if you'd like to start your journey towards becoming a great place to work and achieving recognition on the 2022 Best Workplaces list, the first step is to become Great Place to Work certified. It's an easy 2-step process, so please refer to the chat for details about how you can join our community or get in touch with me on my personal email address on the next slide. But thank you, Sean, and thank you, Andre. I'm Sam Huddle. Thanks for joining us today.